Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and today we are talking about the solar eclipse. It's on September 21. It's at 29 degrees of Virgo. Now, 29 is a critical degree, and this is a harvest eclipse, so that makes it particularly intense. So let's talk about it. So this eclipse and the eclipse we had earlier in September are the exact same eclipses that we had in September 2006. So think back to 2006, what was going on? What were the obstacles and challenges? What were the opportunities that were happening? Because those are things that could be happening again this time. And by the way, I do readings so we can look at your chart and look at specifically what's ahead for you. There's a link in the description. So, of course, eclipses bring big change, and that affects the world. And the theme of the eclipse, which is based on the sign of the eclipse, and in this case, the degree of the eclipse, can give us a lot of information about things that could go on in the world. Now, a lot of these things are happening already. They are just reaching a very noticeable and critical stage. But what's more important is that we can derive information for our own lives from what's going on with this eclipse and in the world. So a Virgo eclipse is always about health and well-being. And so during this time, we may see some big news stories about what is going on in the world when it comes to health, disease, infections, just general well-being of people. And what we need to think about for ourselves is, how are we taking care of ourselves? How are we taking care of our bodies? Because this 29-degree eclipse says that if there are things that you know you need to be doing and you're not doing them, now is the time to start, because the energy here is really loud. It's like a megaphone saying, take care of yourself. A Virgo eclipse is about agriculture and the food supply, and so oftentimes with the Virgo eclipse, we are going to see rising food costs or even shortages. And again, you may have already been experiencing some of this, but this is also that now it becomes more extreme. Now it becomes more noticeable. And the message for us as individuals is, how can we become more self-sufficient? Now, in a society, it's very hard to be 100% self-sufficient, but we can learn to cook at home, keep a well-stocked pantry, to connect with local restaurant owners or local farmers and support what they're doing in our communities. A Virgo eclipse also talks about the people in general, the condition of the population, and so that can lead to some, expressing and civil unrest, and we are seeing that again already. And so it's very important to express our opinions and to be out in the world saying our truth. But this is also a reminder that in our own lives, we need to look at what's not working and make some changes to figure out, what we're doing that is something that we would normally rebel against. And so then we say to ourselves, okay, this is something that has to change. Also, a Virgo eclipse is about how large companies and the government itself just works on a daily basis. And so it's quite likely that we're going to hear a lot more about jobs, how many jobs are being created, or how few are being created, layoffs and things like that. And so that reminds us, that bigger picture reminds us to take a look at how we're doing our daily lives and what we need to subtract from our daily lives, what we need to add to our daily lives to make it better, to put ourselves more on the path that we want to be on. And that might involve, meditation or journaling. That might involve getting into the community, meeting your neighbors, and connecting with people. Now, this eclipse affects those people who are born between the 14th of the month and the 27th of the month. I'm going to put the specific dates on the screen, and that means that your sun is getting hit by this eclipse. Now, of course, a conjunction, a square, or an opposition would be the strongest hit, but even a semi-sextile is going to affect you. And so this hit to your sun means that some aspect of your identity is shifting. That is that you are deciding to leave an old part of you behind and embrace something new. Additionally, it's very important to check the planets and as well as a couple of important points, and that would be the ascendant and the midheaven. Those in particular could affect your job, your living arrangement, your relationship. And so look for any planets or points that are between 25 degrees and 29 degrees, or between 0 and 4 degrees. All of those indicate a hit. Of course, personal planets and the moon are going to be a stronger hit. Some of the outer planets like Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are going to be more generational, so people around your age will be experiencing a similar thing. And I also wanted to mention that if you have anything at early Libra, so that's 0 from 4 degrees, that's actually a conjunction with that eclipse, with this eclipse at 29 Virgo. So that's often missed because of the change of signs, but this is a very potent hit. Now, eclipses allow us an opportunity to see our situation very honestly and make some changes. And this can be something you're quite conscious of, that you've been saying to yourself, I need to change this, or you're already in motion towards it. It also can bring a kind of, oh, the emperor has no clothes type of experience where we say, I didn't realize that I've been fooling myself. I didn't realize that I was not paying attention to this as much as I was. And so then it's time to get real. And so either of those things can help us move forward. Okay, Libra, this solar eclipse is really increasing your intuition and your awareness of what's going on around you. I think it's possible you are flooded now with messages from the universe, but also people in general. And this can make it a little bit difficult to sort through sometimes. If you have like a specific question that you want answered, this is great because you send that question out into the universe and then the answer comes to you, usually through a person or something you click on. So, but if you are just, there and you're not specifically guiding the thoughts that can come in could trigger unconscious fears that you have, insecurities, nervousness, and that sort of stuff needs to be processed so that you can release it. This is an eclipse at a critical degree, and a 29 degree is a time to let go of something. And for you, ideally, you are letting go of fears. And you do that by either facing the thing that you're afraid of or realizing that you have faced this sort of thing in the past. You've done it multiple times. This may have, like a new coat of paint on it, but it's still the same old fear. Now, additionally, to process all of this energy and information, what's necessary is for you to get adequate rest. And for that, when your psychic abilities and intuition are open this much, it's sometimes necessary to put some boundaries around you when you're about to go to sleep or just take a break. So consider doing something. You can do things through visualization or feng shui, or you can smudge. If you want more ideas, just send me an email. We will come up with some things. But by doing this, like setting a boundary, especially a spiritual boundary, you then have a little sanctuary for you to get the rest that you need. And if you've always had trouble sleeping, consider trying this, especially now, to set up that safe space for you to sleep. And a way that you can uncover more information about this eclipse is through an astrology reading. Astrology readings are very helpful. They give you information about yourself, they can uncover your hidden talents and abilities, and they can also give you a view of what's ahead. So I do readings. There's a link in the description. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Venus is making a square with Uranus, so it is very possible for you to meet someone. Now, I think that the trigger for this starts with a visualization, you picturing yourself meeting someone. Don't necessarily picture who you're meeting or what they look like or anything like that, but picture how you're meeting that person. What is the location? Why do you feel comfortable in this location speaking to this stranger? And how does the whole exchange happen? How do you get from hi, and this is my name, to sure, I would like to have coffee? So the visualization calls in the person, a person you've probably already been picturing if that's what you're looking for. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, Venus is making an out-of-sign sextile with Mars. That is that the two of you are coming together in a lot of harmony, but from very different perspectives. And so it's like adding two things together that don't seem to mix, and everything blends. So that's pretty much how we make salad dressing, right? Is it emulsifies. And that is the opportunity here of you bring your skills and your expertise to the problem, and your partner does as well, and the two of you work things out together. So there's a very nice harmonious energy coming at a perfect time, because eclipses can be stressful times. So you might be stressed, your partner might be stressed, but you can work things out. Now, when it comes to your money, you pull money from Pluto, which is in that area of creativity and risk-taking, as well as Mars, which is still in your own sign, but at a critical degree itself. And so this is activating that eclipse energy, and it says to get on with something. Like there's something maybe you've been procrastinating on, perhaps you haven't finished something, and you've got just this much more to do till it's finished. Or this is something that you've heard over and over that somebody says works, and you haven't tried it yet, and this is just now go do that thing. And as you do, then you start to see the results, and that results might be not connected to that thing, but the catalyst that helps you then see the doorway that the universe has been trying to show you. Now, when it comes to money from business or from investments, Venus is making an inconjunct with Pluto, which is that classic, if you do what you don't want to do, then you get results. And so that might mean sitting down with your broker or going through all the prospectuses and, just going line by line to make sure that the fees are in order, etc. With your business, this might be going page by page through your website, or, looking at your procedures and seeing if they need to be updated, seeing if you have the right number of staff, if you need to add or subtract. So all of these things that, again, maybe you've been putting off, these are the things that are going to feel very compelling to do. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be a paycheck, the sun's making a very nice trine to Pluto. This is an opportunity for you to approach your supervisor and see if you can't get more money. You also have good energy if you need to change departments or change teams or even change jobs. You could do that at this time. This is a great time to say, I'm going to end being this role and then embrace a new role. So if you are having trouble connecting with your supervisor, this is worth making the effort for and seeing if you can make some progress towards your goal. So if you were given the chance to completely change one part of your life, what would it be? Take a moment and think about this, because oftentimes that answer will tell you where the eclipse is falling in your chart. And so when we have an eclipse, especially an eclipse that affects the sun in the chart, what gets affected is how you describe yourself to yourself and to others. Then, just less than a month later, Venus opposes the eclipse degree, and that happens on October 1st. And that's going to be some sort of maybe announcement about commerce, about prices, about goods, because Venus rules the Taurus energy, which is the stuff that we want to have. Now, probably the 410 hit is considered one of the most stressful because it is about home and career. And of course, you can mitigate a lot of this energy by leaning in and making as many changes as you can in those areas.